So today we are, welcome everyone. Today we are in the 21st book of Proverbs. Today is January the 21st. We are at day 21 of our study in Proverbs, one book a day for each day in the month. 31 days in Proverbs, 31 days in the month of January. So we are at day 21. And I'm just gonna just throw it out. If people want to comment, Adrian, I see that your mic is off, so I'm gonna pick on you real quick. What have you? What are some things that you have learned through joining us and being here these 21 days in Proverbs? What has the Lord spoken to you um, in the book of Proverbs?
Being wise
Being wise. Yep.
and how to and seek wise help from
Yes.
like other wise people.
He said, "Seek wise help." That yep. You know what they call? They call that in the Bible, seeking wise counsel.
Mhm.
Yep. Seeking wise counsel. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Oh, what about you? Okay.
About about the food.
Mm.
uh,
We learned. Yeah.
about the food, how the food thinks he's right. Um, there's nothing wise that comes from a fool typically, because it's their way or my way or the highway type mentality.
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And I could, and in Proverbs 21, it continues, right? It continues. It's talking about this on Proverbs 21 is life and conduct. Life and conduct. On life and conduct. It says the king's heart is like channels of water in the hand of the Lord. The king's heart is like the channels of water in the hand of the Lord. He turns it whichever way he wishes. He being the Lord. So another way to read this will be the king's heart is like channels of water in the hand of the Lord. The hand of the Lord turns the king's heart whichever way the hand of the Lord wishes. Does that make sense? And out of this, I'm reading this leadership Bible. This is John Maxwell, his leadership Bible. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, let me stop the avatar. Let's see. There we go. So this here we go. John Maxwell Leadership Bible. And what it says is for this verse 1, it says leaders can and should make their plans, but must never forget that God is the one who controls the future. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, says the Bible. Like the rivers of water, he turns it whichever way he wishes. Successful leaders remember this and therefore know the difference between being in charge and being in control. We kid ourselves if we think we are in control. We may have charge of a group, but the best we can do is remain under control. God is the ultimate leader. He is forever in control. It has been rightly said, we don't know what the future holds, but we do know the one who holds the future. Every man's way is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs and examines the hearts of people and their motives.
Yeah,
That would be one of my takeaways for up to this 21 days is the Lord weighs our motives, or the intentions of our hearts. To do justice and to do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice for wrongs repeatedly committed. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice for wrongs repeatedly committed. Has the Lord as great a delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as obedience? So this we got to stay right here for a second here. Um, we got to make sure that that we're watching out and being mindful of sins that we are repeatedly committing, and really just work on repentance and not going back. So that's for what it's worth.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta drop this stuff off
Yeah.
real quick.
Haughty and arrogant eyes and a proud heart, the lamp of the wicked, their self-centered pride is sin in the eyes of God. Haughty and arrogant eyes and a proud heart, the lamp of the wicked, their self-centered pride is sin in the eyes of God. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance and advantage, but everyone who acts in haste comes surely to poverty. So you don't act in haste, act with thought. Put thought in before you act. Acquiring treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, the seeking of pursuit of death. Acquiring treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, the seeking and pursuit of death. Put away lying. Put away lying. The violence of the wicked will return to them and drag them away like fish caught in a net because they refuse to act with justice. The way of the guilty is exceedingly crooked, but as for the pure, his conduct is upright. It is better to live in a corner of a housetop on the flat roof exposed to the weather than in a house shared with a quarrelsome, contentious, fault-finding woman. The soul of the wicked desires evil, like an addictive substance. His neighbor finds no compassion in his eyes. The soul of the wicked, his will, his mind, his will, and his emotions, desires evil, like an addictive drug or substance. And his neighbor finds no compassion in his eyes. Let's go to this cross reference. Cross reference reads, Jan, and one of you says to them, go in peace with my blessing. Keep warm and feed yourselves. When the scoffer is punished, the naive observes a lesson and becomes wise. But when the wise and the teachable person is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous one keeps an eye on the house of the wicked, how the wicked are cast down to ruin. The righteous one keeps an eye on the house of the wicked, how the wicked are cast down to ruin. So this is saying that is keeping our eye on the house of the wicked, and we see and we witness with our eyes that they are cast down to ruin. Have you ever seen somebody or someone cast down to ruin? Have you ever witnessed that with your eyes? I had a guy that, when I was coming up, he was a big time drug dealer too. I mean, he was, and I mean, this was like all through my middle school years and I think up to my sophomore year in high school. I mean, he was big though. Everybody knew. And I just remember him not being there anymore. When the feds pulled up, and I just, just because before it's like, he had everything going for him. But then all of a sudden, he was cast down to ruin. Prayerfully, he rebounded, learned his lesson, turned his life around. But I'm just saying, being able to see those type of things, those are kind of things that we see, or you see these things with your eyes. We're not to rejoice over it by any means. We're not to rejoice over it by any means. That's not what we do, but we do observe it. Whoever shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will cry out himself and not be answered. Give to the poor. Give to the poor. A gift in secret subdues anger, and a bribe hidden in the pocket subdues strong wrath. Subdues means it calms it down. It calms it down. Giving gifts. Interesting. When justice is done, it is a joy to the righteous. Though that means the upright, the one in right standing with God. But to evildoers, it is disaster when justice is done. A man who wanders from the way of understanding and godly wisdom will remain in the assembly of the dead. He who loves only selfish pleasure will become a poor man. He who loves and is devoted to wine and olive oil and food and social media will not become rich. Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah. Oh, can you share your screen?
Oh man, I was rolling, Adrian. Dang.
Oh,
Man, I'm just going here. Man, usually brother with that. So let me go, we got to see this. Let me see here. I think did we talk about the righteous one keeps the eye on the house of the wicked and how the wicked are cast down?
Yeah.
Okay, and so we said watching that. Okay, we get an example, and it says whoever shuts his ears at the cry of the poor will cry out himself and not be answered.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about a gift in secret subdues anger, and a bribe hidden in the pocket subdues strong wrath. Subdues means again, it calms it down. A gift given in secret. When justice is done, it is joy, it is a joy to the righteous, which righteous meaning the upright, the one in right standing with God. But to evildoers, when justice is done, it is a disaster. A man who wanders from the way of understanding, which is godly wisdom, will remain in the assembly of the dead. Here, he who loves only selfish pleasure will become a poor man. And he who loves and is devoted to wine and olive oil, social media, bad food, not getting up early, will not become rich. And that's where we were. Right. Say what anybody want to comment on that.
I know, excuse like the first part, um, he who loves only selfish pleasure will become a poor man, because you keep pouring into your pleasure, or, whatever lust of the eyes or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, just like, I mean, I'm thinking about like how you challenged us to save that money this month. Like, you can't do that if you constantly, seeking after pleasures.
Yeah. Shoot, hey, I'm gonna tell you another pleasure that people be seeking after, and I didn't realize it was that big of a deal, but it is that little gambling stuff they do,
Oh yeah,
the parlay and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
man, that's addictive.
yeah,
That is addictive. Be careful, fellas. I mean, whew, be careful.
yeah.
Be careful. That was a good reminder too, right here to have. I know we'd had a challenge of saving some money. I think we said $500 by the end of the month,
Um,
or 400. I think it was 400.
Yeah, it was 400.
it was
400.
well, no, you said 150 by the end of January, and then I forget the next date. I think it was
Okay.
March. It was 400.
Okay.
No,
So
it was. You said 400 by February.
by February, okay, by the end of February, okay. So where are we now? Anybody want to comment? Anybody? Let me just say this: has anybody been able to save some money,
Yes.
like purposefully? Right? Okay, cool. All right, Adrian, what about you?
Yes.
Good, good. And so now, one thing you might want to do, I don't know, I don't. This kind of depends on how your bank account, how that stuff is set up. You might want to go old school and just get a jar, man, and just start putting it away in a jar. Mhm. Just so you know it's separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got me a little like a little
Ah,
safe thing in my
perfect. All right,
yeah.
that's what that'll work. That'll work. You got a little, so you can look, and then also so you can look at it every now and again too, see it grow.
Yeah.
Um, because we got to be able to save, y'all. We got to be able to save. We have to be able to save money, which means that some things we're gonna have to learn to tell ourselves we not now.
Mhm.
And yep, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so everybody that got something saved. So you said 400 by February. Okay, cool. All right. The wicked become a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous in the place of the upright, for they fall into their own traps. Treacherous. Always, always got something going, always trying to get over on somebody, always trying to look for the angle. That's a treacherous personality type. It is better to dwell in a desert land than with a contentious and troublesome woman. Now, this is talking about women, obviously, right? But take out woman and put in man. Don't nobody want to be around anybody who's contentious and troublesome. Yeah. What is contentious and troublesome? When you hear that, those two words, what does that look like?
Contentious, isn't that like arguing?
Yep, that is that. That is that. That's exactly what that is. Argumentative. Always, if you say left, I'm gonna say right.
Hmm.
What's troublesome? What's troublesome?
Is that like
Troublesome. Go ahead.
lust and stuff? Like
It could be. It could be, but it's more like all troublesome is always got something going, always picking, like just always, anytime they come around, it's always some trouble. It's always some
Hmm.
drama.
Yeah. The definition says causing difficulty or annoyance.
Oh man. Why don't you check out look up contentious? Causing so troublesome is causing difficulty or annoyance. What's contentious?
Causing, excuse me, causing or likely to cause an argument or controversial.
Yep, yep. Don't nobody feel like arguing all the time with people. I mean, just in general, right? Just in general. And as a wise man, we're not trying to go back and forth. I mean, if we got to keep going back and forth, because we have the word of truth, we have the word of life. We're not going back. We're not arguing about it. If you're not trying to hear it, then what's the word say? We're not casting our pearls before swine.
Mhm.
There is a precious treasure and oil in the house of the wise who prepare for the future. But a short-sighted and foolish man swallows it up and wastes it. That's going back to that whole savings thing again, right? That whole learning the discipline of saving money. Just because you get $1 doesn't mean that you have to spend it.
Yeah.
I saw a video or something yesterday where they were talking about how how this the millennials and younger that they like to front like they have money or pretend like they have money, but they don't. Like, they'll take a picture in front of a Lambo with, the money, how they had the money, like cars, all the money, whatever. And, but it's in front of a 1-bedroom apartment complex. So it's just like, it was just interesting. But, I say to you younger folks, if you save right, and by the time you in your 40s and 50s, you're going to have some money. Just working a regular job and saving.
Yeah.
That's not even counting the extraordinary things that God's going to do for you. When he finds you being faithful over where you are right now. Absolutely. So don't be short-sighted. That's foolish. Don't be short-sighted. You got a lot of, if the Lord don't come back, you got long life on this earth. You got at least 80 years on this earth, 70, 80 years on this earth. So do things, be thinking about things that your, I don't know, 50-year-old self. How old are you, Adrian? You in your 20s?
Yeah.
So for you, Adrian, do stuff that your 30-year-old self would say, man, I'm glad you did that. And stuff that probably that your 30-year-old self would say that he glad that you did. Man, I'm glad you started saving money back in 2025. I'm glad you saved, because now I got, instead of 400, now you got 4,000 sitting, not that you have to use. 4,000 is just there. Does that make sense? Over and above your bills. Over and above your bills. Same with you, Mike. Now you're a little older. You're a little more wise. You may be sitting on 25, 30,000. Just sitting on it. Not money, not bill money. Not bill money. And depending on how y'all give and sow and all that kind of stuff, that stuff you put another zero behind it if you could put another zero behind it, because God will open up doors to people he could trust.
Yeah.
He who earnestly seeks righteousness and loyalty finds life, righteousness, and honor. He who earnestly seeks righteousness. This is what we're doing today. What we've been doing these 21 days, seeking his righteousness and loyalty. And our expectations, we're going to find life, we're going to find righteousness, and we're going to find honor. A wise man scales the city walls of the mighty and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. A wise man scales the city walls of the mighty and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. What does that mean? So this, remember we were talking about the rich man and his wealth being like a mighty city?
Yeah.
So a wise man scales those walls. Scaling means climbs the walls. Like some James Bond type stuff where they like shoot the harpoon and it clicks into the top. He just walks up. You know what I'm talking about? That's scaling. That's scaling the walls. Dun, 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 and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. A wise man scales the city walls of the mighty and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. That's a wealth transfer right there. That is the wealth of the wicked being transferred into the hands of the righteous. Thank you, Lord. Wealth, right?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Wealth of the wicked being transferred into the hands of the righteous. How could that, in a practical way, how could that wealth transfer play out in your life? How could that play out in people's lives? Promotion on the job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
your boss was acting crazy, but you stayed in your space. You stayed in your spot. You didn't talk about him. You didn't backbite. You didn't come in late. You prayed for him. You did everything righteously in that situation. And now
Yeah.
he moved out and you got his job.
Mm.
That's one way. I'm trying to, like, what the Lord wants to show you is that there are ways that sometimes we overlook God's hand in our everyday life and how
Mm.
he actually puts these things to work in our life, like the wealth of the wicked being transferred to the hands of the righteous. That is a churchy type phrase, I know.
Mm.
But what it simply means is that somebody's gonna move out, you're gonna take their place.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
another way that the wealth of the wicked could be transferred to the hands of the righteous?
Um, a reward or a bonus.
Oh, I like that. BLAUS, bonus, yep. Uh-huh. What's another way that the wealth of the wicked can be transferred into the hands of the righteous?
Mm.
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 What about this? Opportunity. Opportunity.
Or favor.
What's that favor look like?
Um, like you get.
Mm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking of the one above, the opportunity, like you getting a job, or um uh,
Mhm.
or just anything. Yeah, getting a position that that maybe you're underqualified for. That somebody.
Yes, that
Mhm.
that is favor. Yep.
Yeah.
Getting something that you don't necessarily qualify. That put that in quotes. Qualify for.
Or getting the job that everybody else wanted. We didn't realize how big of a job it was.
Yeah.
Getting that's called coveted. Getting a coveted job, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's when everybody wants it. Getting a coveted job, position, contract,
Yeah.
etc. So when we talk about the wealth of the wicked being transferred into the hands of the righteous, the other thing is, we have to be ready for this. We have to actually be the righteous.
Mm-hmm.
This only works. This is part of the equation. Okay, here's the first part. The wealth of the wicked being transferred is the first part of the equation, right? Praise God. Oh, this is
Right.
being transferred. But then the other part of it is it's being transferred, but it's qualified because it's going into the hands of the righteous.
Yeah.
Keyword righteous. So we need to be about our Father's business and making sure that we walk in righteousness, which
Mm-hmm.
is, how do we walk in righteousness?
Being humble. Regardless of
Come on, man. That was the word the Lord had on my heart too, is humble.
Yeah. I
Because
had
we
a,
can go ahead. Oh,
I had a, it wasn't a better pay. It was just you could come in later, and then at a certain point of the job, you weren't going to be supervised at all. You're on camera, but you weren't going to be supervised at all. So you could take breaks as you wanted to. You just had to be done by a certain time. Once you're trained, and the training was like, go around with all the paperwork. All right, you're on your own. Tomorrow, in 2 days, you're on your own. Okay, so be it. Then the person says to me, hey, he's like, they talking to you now? I said, who? He's like, oh, they was all mad because you got a job. I said, I didn't even ask for it. They came to me, the two supervisors came to me like, hey, we know that you're not just gonna take these breaks and you be on camera, but you're not supervised. We know that you're the person that we can trust the most to just do your job.
right.
And I was like, all right, cool. But that's because I went in there first and foremost. I prayed for the job, and then I also went in there humbly and just worked it like it was like I owned it. And
That is a
so
good concept. Work it like. Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm sorry.
So
Mm.
I was not the best, and I told him straight up. I was like, I was not the best. Numbers weren't the greatest, but I was diligent and I kept working to where my numbers became where they like, all right, he's cool. He can do this. He'll come in and get his numbers for the little bit of time he's on the floor. Then the rest of it, I'm just counting stuff. So we have the right amount in the building, and then checking trailers, all this stuff. I had to the point where I'd be done early, but they were just saying like, yeah, we knew you could do that, but you were sure track to go to full time because it was considered an office job. And I was like,
I want to say
oh,
something that you just said, man. You said work it like you own it.
oh, absolutely.
That is so key because a lot of times, especially when you guys are early in your work careers,
Yeah,
you you'll see people that you know that you're smarter than. You'll be supervised by people that you know you got more uh what's that, swag, more leadership ability, more whatever than they do.
yeah,
And you actually see where they make mistakes.
right,
And here's what the foolish person would do. When that manager makes a mistake, you in some kind of way try to be funny with them or try to, show them up.
right,
That's what the foolish person would do. What the
right,
wise person would do is make sure that you help that manager, even though he's been mean to you, even though he may not have been fair to you,
right,
even though you came in late. You did come in late, but he put you on blast for coming in late that third time in a row. Even if he did all of that stuff, you have a choice. Either you can put him on blast and be happy when calamity happens, which is foolishness. Or you could be wise and say, you know what, I'm still gonna come in on time. I'm still gonna do my stuff. I'm still gonna stay. If I need to get my job done, I might even stay a little late and don't even worry about getting paid.
Mm.
I'm not even gonna worry about getting paid right now. I know, whatever. And if you do that, that is being that's vision versus being short-sighted. Because in the short term, yeah, you might have lost out on 3-10 hours of work that you did to get your job done right. But
right,
somebody's always looking. And be like, "Ooh, that dude Mike, he got an excellent spirit on him. I like Mike. Mike come in early, 10 minutes early. So when it's 8 o'clock, he's on the line at 8 o'clock, ready to go."
Mm.
Man, every time I see that dude Adrian, I see him staying a little late to finish up his work. Everybody else just tearing out of here at 4:59 and 50 seconds. They out the door. He finished up his paperwork, got his desk neat, and he out. That Adrian got an excellent spirit. Next time, let's pay attention to Adrian. Now these conversations are happening. Y'all don't even know these conversations are happening because your increase in your favor comes from the Lord, and where it comes from the Lord is because you are in position and you've been practicing excellence. Practice excellence, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when your supervisor gets on your nerves,
Mm.
especially when you think your supervisor is not being fair, especially, especially because it's easy to do right when you got a good supervisor. It's easy. It's easy. But what about when you had that tough supervisor that you just can't stand? And some of the reasons that you can't stand them, truth be told, and I'm not just talking with you guys, I'm talking whoever the listeners are as well, that are catching this. A lot of times, it's some truth to what that manager sees in you. So
Mm.
you get mad if he calls you lazy. But you coming to work late every day. You get mad at her because she says you always keeping stuff started and you need to just do your job, and you get mad at her, but you always talking about other people. And maybe not even in a bad way, but you always on your phone at work. Hold on. Let me turn this avatar off. You always, every time I see you come past your desk, you doing this. You ain't even looking at the screen. You boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we said prepare. He said work it like you own it, and practice practice excellence at your job. Practice excellence at your job. Now I'm gonna tell you this: once you start practicing excellence, once you in the beginning of it, it's going to be everything is going to happen for you not to do it. Your boss is going to say something fly at the mouth, or your coworker's going to, something's going to happen where you have a choice. Do I still walk in it, or do I walk in my feelings? And we say, don't walk in your feelings. Just be disciplined and just say, I'm going to do this in this month of January. And heck, we might even, so we talked about the financial challenge. Let's talk about the excellent spirit challenge. Now, the excellent spirit challenge is whatever you do in your job, take the next, 30 days, to the end of the month, and just be excellent. That means if you got to be to work at 8, get there at 7:55 and be ready to go at 8. If the job is over at 4, work through 4 and stay a little longer to do whatever, clean up whatever, and then ask your supervisor on the way out, hey, is there anything else you need me to do before I get out of here?
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, if you do these things, these are ways that we can walk in our excellent spirit. And then God can start going to work for us, and it's going to mature us. It's going to mature you, and it's going to mature you in the process too. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be hard. It's going to be some stuff that come like, man, I ain't trying to do all that. He just messed up my check.
Mm.
And then now you get with other people. Did he mess up your check? He messed up my check too. Blah 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 blah. I mean, and maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But how you handle it is going to show whether it's wisdom or foolishness. All right. He who guards his mouth and his tongue guards himself from troubles. Man, we just talked about that. You ain't got to get into everybody's conversation. You ain't got to talk it all the time. Proud, haughty, scoffer are his names. This is the person. Thank you. Good looking. I didn't get that far this time. So here we're talking about, we said, he who guards his mouth or guards his tongue guards himself from troubles. You don't have to respond to every single thing. You ain't got to say, I was about to say, no, that's not right. You ain't got to respond to everything. Some things you could just let ride for a minute. You ever met a person that always got something to say, always got a response? Always got something to say, always got to have the last word. You ever met somebody like that?
Yeah.
What is your feeling toward that personality type?
Sometimes it's annoying.
It's annoying. Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes and sometimes it's out of place. Like you have to say, okay, right. So let's not be that guy. Let's not be that guy. Because if you always got, that means you always have an answer. That means you always, so it really what it says is you're always right in your own mind.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't like that. No, I wasn't. No, yes, you were. You were late. Well, the dog died. I get it, but you still were late. This is the 3rd time this week you was late. And you blaming them because your check is short. You came to work 5 days, 3 days out of last week. You got here an hour late. And you mad at them. You mad at the supervisor because you said that your check is short.
Mm.
And then you mad because they caught you fudging the sign-in sheet.
Mm.
So anyway, proud, haughty, scoffer are his names. These are people who act with overbearing and insolent pride. Proud, haughty. Hey, Google, what's the definition of haughty?
Here's the definition of haughty: arrogantly superior and disdainful.
Arrogantly superior and disdainful. Hey, Google, what does disdain mean?
Here's the definition of disdain: the feeling that someone or something is unworthy of one's consideration or respect, contempt.
Wow.
You're not even worthy of my time. You know how that's just, you're not even worthy of my time.
Mm.
This is the person who has overbearing, insolent pride. The desire of the lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to labor. Hey, man don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
I think man don't work, he don't eat. Now on the converse side, What kind? A good man works and eats good. Hmm. That's the other part of it. We ain't gonna just take the negative. We'll take both. We'll take both of it.
Mm.
Right.
Good man works and a good man eats good. And we're not talking. Obviously, we're talking food, but we're talking. You know how we eat. We all eat. Hey, this is a sidebar. When one of you guys becomes 100,000-aire, uh, make sure that the people around you that helped you get there, your close circle, make sure that they eat too. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah.
Just make sure that they eat too. If your parents are still alive, man, sow into their lives. Mama should be getting a check from you, some money from you every month.
Mm.
Right.
Mama should be getting some money from you, or whoever your mama figure was, your dad figure, whoever that was, who. Yes, you sow at church, you tithe, absolutely, but there are people in your life that poured into you and that made a difference in your life. Shoot them a cash app and just say thank you. That's a seed sown, by the way, too. And God will multiply that seed back to you. He says that whatever you give, I'm gonna give it back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. With the measure that you meet, it'll be measured back to you.
Yeah.
He craves. Okay, so we said for desire. Okay, so don't be lazy. For his hands refuse to labor. He craves all day. This is still talking about the lazy dude. He craves all day long and does no work. But the righteous. Here's a contrast, But the righteous willingly gives and does not withhold what he has. We just talked about that. The righteous, how do they give? How do they give?
Willingly.
No, they give grudgingly. They give out of like, nah, I ain't
Oh,
trying to
you
hit
said,
man
yeah.
here. No, they say willingly. You're right. It says willingly, not grudgingly. Not, man, I ain't trying to get at to him. They want to give. And he says, and does not withhold what he has.
Mhm.
The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable and offensive to the Lord. How much more unacceptable and insulting can it be when he brings it with an evil intention? Mm. The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable to the Lord and offensive to the Lord. How much more unacceptable and insulting can it be when he brings this sacrifice with evil intention? What's the evil intention? What would be an evil intention?
Um,
Sparky, what would be an evil intention?
I think even something that doesn't seem evil, but like doing it for show.
Yeah, there it is. That's an evil intention.
Yeah.
Right there. That's good. That's an evil intention, doing it for show. Yeah. That's good. Doing it for show. Anybody else? Evil intention. And that was good that you said because it can look good on the outside. You bring the
Yeah.
sacrifice, but you're doing it for show. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. What about because you want something evil?
Mm.
Evil, and I'm gonna put evil or out of the will of God.
Right.
Out of God's will for your life. So God says, no, you don't need to have that motorcycle right now. You know he said you don't need to have that motorcycle right now. But guess what? You want to, so you said, okay, if I tithe, he said if I give, it's going to be given back to me, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. I've been doing right at my job, I got this bonus. I'm gonna go ahead and get this motorcycle. The motorcycle in and of itself is not evil. It's just that God said, don't do that. I don't want you on that motorcycle. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Making
That's
it your idol.
making it your idol. Yep.
God can care less about these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's worried about the condition of your heart.
The condition of your heart. Because a false witness will perish, but a man who listens to the truth will speak forever and go unchallenged, undefeated. Listens to the truth will speak forever and go unchallenged. Listens to the truth. You got to listen to the truth. Evil intention. Let me go back there real quick. A wicked man puts on a bold face, but as for the upright, he considers, directs, and establishes his way with confidence of integrity. With the confidence of integrity. I kind of could see this play out. You know, the wicked with the bold face. You know, that's the arrogant person. Blah 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 blah. Always just talking loud and like, look at me, beat this chest. I'm the king of the jungle. I built this. It's mine. That's the bold face, right? That's what that bold face looks like.
Yeah.
But for the upright, I like that this upright guy. What does he do? He does three things.
Considers, directs, and establishes his way.
And establishes. This guy is a thinking. But I like all three of those. He considers, boom. He directs. That means he in charge of something. And he establishes. And what does he do? He establishes his way with confidence, with the confidence of integrity. Because he's confident, like, hey man, look, y'all can look me up and down because I do what I say I'm gonna do. I be where I say I'm gonna be, and I'm coachable or humble.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we do, man. And it's all now, and you know, and we don't always get there. Like sometimes somebody gotta pull our coattails, like, you know, you're kind of tripping right now. Okay, he's like, yeah, you know, you're right. Let me get back to, let me listen to what he said, because I didn't like it. It bothered me. I kind of just, whatever, I kind of shrugged him off, or whatever was said that was a rebuke or a reproof or correction. But you know what? Now that I think about it, that was right. That was God speaking to me through that person. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Because God can speak to us through any kind of vessel, any kind of vessel.
Yeah.
A nice, clean 3-piece suit vessel, a dirty bum in the street vessel, your cousin vessel, your little cousin vessel, your wife vessel, your girl vessel, your pastor vessel, your brother vessel, your biological brother vessel, your church brother vessel, a situation or a circumstance. Any of that. Especially if you're listening, there is no human wisdom or understanding or counsel that can prevail against the Lord. Duh. But maybe not, right? I guess we need to hear that. There is no human wisdom. There's no app. There's no algorithm. There's no AI that can prevail against the Lord.
Amen.
There's no amount of money. There's no Elon Musk. There's no what's this Mark Zuckerberg. There's no human wisdom or understanding or counsel that can prevail against the Lord. The horse is prepared for. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because your crypto and paper money is all made up.
Yep.
The system of the world.
The world system. Absolutely. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance and victory belong to the Lord. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance and victory belong to the Lord. And if victory belongs to the Lord, or you are in Christ Jesus, then victory belongs to you. You are the horse being prepared for the day of battle. Adrian, Omari, Mike, we are the horses that are being prepared for the day of battle. But the deliverance and our victory belong to the Lord. Because the battle is not ours, it's the Lord's. That doesn't say we won't have to fight the battle, but the battle is not ours, it is the Lord's.
Yeah.
Deliverance and victory belong to the Lord. Thank you guys for today. Let's see. Let's stop the. So we like to just, again, thank you guys for coming out today. If there's anybody, I'm going to put my name I'm gonna put my phone number in the chat. If you guys have any anything you want to talk about offline, any prayer requests, feel free to do that. So there's my number there in the chat. No, that's not the chat. That was AI. Let me go back to the chat. How about that? Oh, isn't it funny? Okay, cool. And so we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for coming.